What?
Oh no, I was just gonna say every time I think about it, I really love that joke about Goku using the homophobic slur. Like I don't know why I did that image of like Goku getting into Piccolo's face.
What do we do now? We could hug. Yeah, you'd like that, fat. Sorry.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome
Yo.
to Shooting the Shit. We are back once again. We went against our better judgment here. A lot of people telling us you shouldn't support abusers, and we didn't go into this movie expecting to like support an abuser. We didn't. That was not our intention. We went in as journalists.
Professional
We were
journalist.
professional journalists to bring you the facts about the movie. Because if
The
we,
hard-hitting facts.
yeah, because if we don't, who will?
Yeah, I mean, what you can't be waiting on Eddie Brock
Yeah,
because he doesn't bring as hard as facts as we do.
that's true. Eddie Brock wishes he brought the facts, nothing but the facts. See, he brings some of the facts. We bring nothing but the facts.
Yeah, the hard facts.
Yes. Eddie Brock may bring other things along with. He might bring facts, but he might also bring opinions and assumptions. But we bring nothing but
The facts.
So we saw Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah. It's the Crimes of Grindelwald, which surprisingly had very little crimes,
Yes. He did maybe one illegal thing.
which was escaping.
Yeah.
So it should have really been called The Crime of Grindelwald.
The singular crime. The escape of Grindelwald. Or the speeches of Grindelwald. That's basically what happened.
The white nationalist propaganda of Grindelwald.
Oh, dude. Okay, dude. Like, this movie was so try hard, but yet so lazy at the same time. I
Yeah.
want to get it out of the way that everyone who worked on this movie, aside from 2 people, should be embarrassed.
I think whoever wrote the script should be especially embarrassed. I mean, Jesus Christ. I
Oh
mean,
my
J.K. Rowling would never allow
See
this.
it? Got it.
J.K. Rowling would never allow something like this to happen.
Of course. Whatever hack she got to write this script.
I mean,
Clearly
it's not her fault. I mean, it's not like she wrote it. I mean, most of the producers probably got some whack off from fanfiction.net.
Yeah. Oh, dude. God, what an embarrassing movie. I don't even, it was baffling decision after baffling decision.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah. Oh, my God. We only have an hour, though. We're going to go over, but I don't know. We'll see.
3-hour podcast.
I think the most immediate thing I wanted to point out is, how boring Newt is. Like, even when he's with the animals, the things he's supposed to love,
Yeah.
he's not particularly interesting.
I mean, even in the first one, I never
Yeah.
really thought that. And the thing from the books, he literally just wrote a textbook that the characters use in the book.
Yeah.
So, he's not super interesting.
I don't remember. I did watch the first one. It's been a while. And that was before I was so, knowledgeable of the canon for the most part. I don't know everything because I only saw the movies. But I'm much more knowledgeable about the canon than I was when I watched Fantastic Beasts. And as far as I can tell, you can absolutely watch this without watching the first Master Beast. There's, a couple of characters that you maybe wouldn't know.
Well, here's the thing about that is that you're right, but, in a bad way.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, I watched the original Fantastic Beasts, and they kept introducing characters like we should know who they are, but we don't know who they are.
At all. My favorite shot, we definitely were is when they got the Auror who was gonna hunt down Credence the first time.
Yeah.
And he was chilling in the back in the shadows, being all intimidating. It was supposed to be scary, but it was just confusing
It's a
because
very poor choice.
yeah, I get it. They're like, let's make him look scary and threatening and see, because he eventually does betray them. So
But the way they shot it, what is this dude even doing?
Yeah, we don't know what's behind that because he's kind of next to a curtain.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's behind that curtain. As far as we know, he was just chilling around a corner behind a curtain waiting to come out because we don't know if there's more rooms or hallways back there.
Yeah.
And we don't even know where he is in the room.
Well, here's the thing. Another thing that's hilarious is that when this character, this Auror, I can't say Auror very well, so I'm just gonna say policeman.
Wizard police. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's when So the council is asking Newt if he'll take on this job of finding credence, and he says no. So they're like, all right, we're gonna get this other dude, and then Newt just looks at him and is like, you, and I'm just like, wait, who is he?
Yeah.
And like they never explain who he is, so it's just I'm assuming his name is just you.
There was so much that I don't remember. Like I attributed it to me not remembering the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah.
But like Lita Lestrange, his brother, I remembered none of these people.
I don't think they were in it.
Yeah, because we got mentioned. Kylie, my girlfriend, watched it with us.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned that apparently Lita Lestrange was mentioned in passing.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I do remember that. I don't remember the name specifically.
Yeah, but I don't remember the brother at all.
So like the way it's shot, it's like we see Lita Lestrange for the first time, and she's like, "Oh my God, dude, it's been so long." It's like, "Okay, I don't know who you are," and it's like, "Oh man, your brother's waiting to see you." It's like, "Wait, Newt has a brother now?" And then we lead into that whole this random guy we've never met before that Newt obviously has a problem with.
Yes.
So that's the very beginning too.
It's so janky, and like the script is it was going so fast while telling us so little.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh my God, we were hopping from place to place. The cuts were atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
The editing in this was lazy. There were so many, especially like I immediately thought of a hack way to fix it.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the shots showed a lot of characters just appearing out of nowhere, and you were never really sure where anyone was in the space. Now, this is a magical world, so they establish people in this movie. Is it disapparate or apparate?
I think it's both.
Okay, well, people in this universe apparate far more than anybody ever did in the original series. So much so that it's distracting, because a lot of times people are running away from shit. Like, just apparate. Because in the original, like, you just forgot because so little people did it.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just that. It's like in the original, they don't learn how to apparate and disapparate until, like, they're 16 or 17.
Yeah.
So, like, for a large portion, to these characters that really didn't exist.
Oh, yeah. So,
and, like, that was actually a problem I had with the seventh book. Is that there was a very obvious... Because I've read it more than once.
Yeah.
And after a while, I noticed the formula of, okay, shit goes down... They disapparate somewhere else, and then Hermione's crying. This happens more than once, so it's like, okay, so like it happens like a few times. It happens at Harry's birthday party. It happens. You saw that part, right?
No, I believe it might be in the 7th, because like
no, like part 1. Yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
Okay, no, sorry, I think it was the wedding that went down. Yeah.
You see, that was actually really funny. Like, we can go on a tangent. That was really funny because, like, it was at the wedding, but Hermione mentions that she has a birthday present for him. And I remember saying, like, she was gonna fucking give him a birthday present at somebody else's event. How tacky of you, Hermione.
Okay, I'm remembering the movie. So, like, this happens at the wedding. This happens when they go meet the snake, or like when they go meet to see where Harry grew up. Like, again, they just separate him. Hermione saves everyone, they just separate, she starts crying at the end. It's happened a few times, so I was like, okay, like, the separating does become a problem. It just isn't for most of the series because they didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. But in this movie, everyone
is an adult
person who's long graduated from their wizarding school.
Well, to be fair, Newt never actually graduated. He was kicked out because he had too many ideas.
Oh my God, he's so boring. Like, even when as
he's a squirmy little fuck, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, really, like, no discernible personality other than his animals, and even then, there isn't that much there. I was more interested in his little helper, who like was super like thirsty for him. Like, you should take off your shirt. Like, and I was
I don't think she was in the first one either.
Yeah,
I don't remember. That's the problem with the first Fantastic Beasts movie, that it's so unmemorable.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think of what I remember from that movie. I remember the scene where they were trying to catch the big fucker in Central Park. I thought that was cool. And I remember thinking Newt had no motivation to fight Credence. So why was he fighting Credence? Like, at the end.
Of this movie? Or
in the previous one.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big problem with Newt. He literally has no reason to do anything.
And honestly, he just sort of stumbles into shit.
Yeah,
in
like,
both movies.
Well, because in this movie in particular, it was especially lazy. because they asked him, we will allow you to go to France if you chase after Credence. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then he goes home with literally now nothing to do. Like, his like, well, that's it. That's the end of the movie. Then Jacob and his wife show up. Abusive as hell, by the way. She's like,
they're not married.
Yeah, I kind of liked what they did with her. Like, I can see bigger glimpses of what they wanted to do with her than anything else. Well, we'll get to that. But like, they find out through her that Tina, his love interest, was in France. So suddenly that's his reason to go to France. And then while there, suddenly he just decides to be really involved in this hunt of Credence.
Well, the only reason he's doing that, from what I saw, is because Tina, that was her focus. Yeah. And he wanted to like be closer to her and like explain that he wasn't engaged to Lita. Yeah. So he was only helping her for that reason.
For his own gain.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is that when Dumbledore is talking to the Ministry of Magic, and they're like, yo, we know that you sent Newt to Paris. And it's like, Newt isn't good at taking orders. Like, you are way righter than you actually know. Because he did not go to Paris because of you.
That's fantastic. That's funny. That's a good joke. Point one in favor of Crimes of Grindelwald and like 80 against it. Like but so not only is Newt boring, he's also extremely unmotivated, which means he's not engaging. Yeah. Like, I never care about Newt or anything that he does, because everything he does is in service of something aside from the main plot. If you wanted to fix that, what you could do is you could have him maybe forced to do it. Like they could have forced him to do it, and then they could have said, by the way, Tina's also going to be there. Or, by the way, your partner's now Tina because you both want to go. So suddenly there's a nice little side thing to now I have to go because I want to remove my ban. Or maybe my brother needs this from me and I owe him something because we have a past or whatever. Yeah. And then Tina's there as a side. And you could have had the same stupid ass, like, oh, you're engaged, and not talk about it throughout the whole thing. But you could have given him a motivation to be there chasing after Credence. Yeah. Boom. More interesting plot. Yeah. Like, it's
kind of very unclear how much time has passed between the first movie and this movie. Yeah. Because, he hasn't seen, was it Jacob? Yeah. And Queenie. He hasn't seen them for a while, obviously. But, like, not in so long to where talking about New York was like, oh, it didn't feel like too long ago.
Yeah, so it feels like maybe a few months. Like,
I mean, it just said 3 months before Grindelwald escaped. Yeah. Like, was that literally? They said that he tortured for like a long time. Yeah,
because the first movie ended with them capturing him, right?
It ended with them capturing him, Queenie going back to see Jacob. Yeah. And Newt going to fuck off somewhere, right?
So, assuming that they tortured him, assuming for a while. So this movie takes place at least 3 to 4 months after the maybe 5 at most. Yeah. Like, from the first one, so not long. Like, it's not enough to be that huge a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like it's been a while in real life. So it's like, yeah. Like, I guess the way they dispense this information is very awkward, especially when Jacob first shows up with Queenie.
Definitely. And one thing I will say is that Jacob is great. Yeah. The two, like, again, I said in the beginning, like, if we're gonna, let's veer into a positives for a little bit if we have any, before we get into the real meat. The two people that shouldn't be embarrassed for doing their best with what they were given was Jacob, and the very little we got of Dumbledore. Yeah. I think it was Jude Law, I believe. He's excellent. The scene where, like, he's asking Newt in the bus to go to France with him, to find Credence. Like, it felt like Dumbledore, like a very sweet, like, please, can you go there for me? Like, it was sweet, it was engaging, he was nice. And even fucking 70 years ago, he was doing that bullshit ass, like, it'll all just kind of fall into place. Like, he was doing that in Newt, like, fucking decades.
Like, don't worry about it, man, you're fine.
Yeah, just like, I'm gonna just leave you a little trail, and you'll follow it by some stupid happenstance, and everything will work out. He was doing that even back then. Yeah. I think Jude Law's Dumbledore was wonderful, and it sucks he wasn't in this more. But what do you think? Those were really it, because
I love Nagini in this one. I mean, seriously. I mean, I was the most adamantly against her, but I think she really came through as a character.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean,
they use magic a little more interestingly for a bit. Like
like that part when Grindelwald's actually escaping, and like he just turns into that other dude.
Yeah, like they definitely
That was pretty
they
neat.
use magic in much more. Well, it's because I guess they weren't burdened by the whole they're kids, so they don't know that much.
Yeah.
Like so these are like full grown, exceptionally powerful wizards.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for them to be all like like every battle is Voldemort versus Dumbledore in Order of the Phoenix. But it got to this weird point where like there was a lot of blowing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of blowing, like Newt and Grindelwald and all of them were just blowing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, come on, you can be a little more creative than that.
Yeah.
I did like the one where Newt like turned his wand into like a little hearing thing and he put it against his ear. That was neat.
Yeah, I like those familiars.
Oh yeah, those were
look real slick.
Those were cool. Like, well, because all the CGI.
I think I like how dark they were. Like, they were so
Because
dark.
all the CGI is so corny. Like,
Yeah.
like all of Newt's creatures look terrible. Like, like they're clearly not there. The only ones that look decent is Pick, I think it's called, the little green thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pick and those familiars, because they were stylized. Like they were cartoonish enough to you like. You suspended your disbelief, but they were real enough that you believed they were there.
I was saying, like, they look so dark. They was like they look
Their
uncomfortable.
Eyes, yeah, they were dope.
Yeah.
I wish they were used efficiently and not like a stupid insert. Like, oh man, the movie's boring as fuck. We need to like get an action scene in there to wait.
The most hilarious part. I'm gonna say it's not the most hilarious part.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hilarious parts there.
Yeah.
So one of the most hilarious parts.
Laughably bad movie.
Is that when they go up to like the lady and she's like, all right, who are you? It's like, oh, this is Lita Lestrange, and the clearly white woman looks at her and just like, yes, I am Lita Lestrange. And it's like, and I am fucking her fiance, and they're like, okay, fuck. I mean,
she didn't buy it for a second.
She still let him in though.
Yeah, she still let him in. She still let him in, and then like knowing they were on a time constraint, they decided right there and then to have the I'm not actually engaged, which again, like that's such a bullshit contrived thing. You didn't need it.
Well, here's the thing. Like I understand, like in the real world, like in our world. In the 1920s, 1930s, you couldn't just fucking call someone up and be like, yo, what's up with this? But like, they're wizards.
Yeah, they can apparate to each other, disapparate.
Or at the very least, send like an owl, be like, yo, what's up with this?
Do you still have owls? What happens to your owl after you graduate Hogwarts?
You buy your owl out of Hogwarts, and then you go in, and like, you don't get an owl when you go to Hogwarts.
Shut up.
Unless you're Harry, in that case, your owl dies.
Dude, I'm gonna wait for our like year 5 through 7 video for that.
Yeah.
But, anyways, I did want to ask though, real quick before we get back into it. So, like, Hogwarts is a particularly prestigious wizarding school, correct?
Yes.
Are there shitty public ones, like you know?
Key and Peele actually had a sketch about that.
Really?
Yeah, we'll have to see that one. Like honestly, there's only 3 that come out in the books, which are the all-female school, and the fucking
the dark arts one. I think it was.
The one Victor Crumb goes to.
Yeah,
and I think there are different schools. There's also an American one. Don't get me started on that.
But I'm asking because there's that whole thing where like Nagini, the well-rounded, excellent diversity representation character that's everyone's favorite. She like attacks the dude in one of her scenes, and then magic shit starts happening, and all the people are running away.
Yeah. And
I'm just like, what's wrong with these people? Like, they're also wizards, presumably.
One other question I had is why is it weird in this world to see someone turn into a snake? I feel like in the context of a wizarding world, this would be a lot less weird.
I mean,
like the story he was telling was pretty weird.
Yeah.
That she's a maledictus and that she will be forced to stay this way forever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Can you imagine when she does have to stay this way forever, and then he's just describing this snake? Like, this used to be a person. It's like, bullshit.
The act had a shelf life. Like, but, fuck it, let's just get into Nagini.
Let's just get it right into it, dude.
Because I feel like there are huger problems to cover, but Nagini in particular was such a, like...
Oh, okay, here's the thing. Nagini guaranteed this movie to be on the bottom 10.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what they would have done. They could not have done anything to make me like Nagini being a Korean woman.
Yeah. It was definitely like there were a lot of people who were like whatever, because like if you're gonna make it a person, well, I mean like the general consensus is like don't make it a person at all. Well, but if you're gonna make her a person, don't make her a fucking Korean.
No, it's just because like nobody questioned why Voldemort can talk to Nagini because he can fucking talk to snakes.
Yeah,
and nobody questioned why he had like a close relationship with her because you just sort of assumed that he fucking likes snakes better than people. And also, it's pretty fucking gangster to just have this big ass snake while you're sitting in your throne.
Yeah.
Like fucking talking to people. So like there was no reason for Nagini to not just be a badass snake.
And in this snake, so let's just say assuming like we ignore that, there was literally no reason for the snake to be a person. None. But if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do something with it. If you cut the fact that Nagini became Voldemort's snake, you literally lose nothing. Mm-hmm. In fact, the fact that she is Nagini is actively against the film's favor. Yeah. Because her the non-existent character that she has. Yeah. The thing that she does do, it's impossible to really feel anything for her because we know the outcome. Yeah. There's a big scene where she's being held captive by a white dude, like and like she attacks him in a moment that felt really like they got out. And it was like, oh man, she left the captor of the white. She attacked her captor, and freed herself from the white man. I can't wait for her to be captured by another white man, but very into it.
It's also very weird too how she's adamantly against Credence going with Grindelwald. So it's like because basically, Voldemort's Grindelwald too.
Yeah.
Literally so because Kylie was explaining like in Voldemort's prime. He was like this smooth talker as well, and he was like convincing people. So again, he is literally just Grindelwald too. Yeah. It's like, so what was wrong with the first Grindelwald to where I expected her to go with Credence, and like it would have been like at the very least like okay, so like she's been a big supporter of this type of shit from the very beginning.
Yeah. And she wasn't. So like if she's gonna like be a good guy in the next one. I guess I don't know. Like we'll see what happens with the third one, but as of right now, the fact that she's Nagini is a detriment. Yeah, like it's a detriment. It's stupid.
And I've mentioned there's nothing they could do for me personally to ever like this.
I guess if they made her still a villain, like it would have been fine. I guess like it would have been like a whatever. I guess.
But I don't think you understand, Josh. J.K. Rowling has gone on record on Twitter. Yeah. Saying that she's been sitting on this twist for 20 years.
Oh, God. I don't even get... I just learned that the werewolves were supposed to be people with AIDS.
Which is terrible.
Terrible.
Because in the book, Lupin... Wasn't him Lupin?
Lupus. No,
Lupus.
It was Lupin. Remus Lupin.
Okay, well, he explains that the way he became a werewolf is because this fucking crazy dude... would sort of position himself near children, and so like he would intentionally make people werewolves. Yeah, it's like, J.K. Rowling, like,
I don't think you know what AIDS is, girl.
Like you should think things through a little bit more.
We'll just call it, before we get back to the movie, we'll call this the J.K. Rowling is full of shit section.
Okay, so let's start off with the very beginning of the full of shit. Which is Dumbledore being homosexual.
Yes. Which is infuriating. Well, not infuriating. It's nice in a vacuum.
Yeah, like I think I mentioned, like it doesn't necessarily help, but it doesn't really take anything away. If people want to see Dumbledore as gay, that's perfectly fine.
Within the originals, because you're right. There are some things he does that you can see. He likes knitting magazines. His password to his fucking magical like fort office is lemon sherbet or whatever. Like it's silly and like stereotypy, but whatever. It's nice.
But I guess the thing that I'm trying to make is that they never do enough to like state that he is like, because I reread that part where he's taught the part that everybody, because he's like, oh, he's obviously in a gay relationship with Grindelwald. Like, the wording is so vague, you could really just see it as them being friends. Or just, like, really, really good friends. Yes.
I tell you, Dumbledore being gay was nice in a vacuum, in retrospect. But now that, like, we're continuing the canon with a specific, like, emphasis on Dumbledore, the fact that they're skirting around it so much, which is what they're doing, is uncomfortable, to say the least.
Because they distinctly say, like, oh, you're as close as brothers. Like, that is what a straight person would say when they are observing two gay people being gay.
Yes.
No, like, I don't know if you've seen this picture. It's like these two lesbian couple getting married. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe I got be here with my best friend. And there's a comment like, oh my god, it's like the dream to get married on the same day that my best friend does.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. But like, the movie was almost mocking you. The movie was almost mocking you with how not gay they were.
There's also the thing that bothers me with the original is that one of the defenses J.K. Rowling uses is that the reason she wasn't more explicit with Dumbledore being gay is that it didn't really matter to Harry's story, which is like, okay, sure, but by the gods, we need to know that Lupin and Nymphadora Tonks are getting married. We need to know that Fleur Delacour and Bill are an item. But God forbid, one of the most important characters to this series gets anything.
Oh my god, that is silly as shit. I never thought of it like that. You're right. Oh my god, they spent, especially in the movie, they all came in at once to Harry's old house, and they're like, by the way, we're all in relationships now. And he's all like, yeah, no, well, he was dead at that point, I guess, but whatever. By the god. So as I was saying, the movie was almost actively mocking you with how not gay they were, because like they had so many perfect opportunities. They had that whole scene where he was all like, it's like, we need you to fight Grindelwald. And he's all like, I can't. And he's like, oh, because I know how y'all were. And then they wave a wand to a flashback, and like they were standing so far apart from each other. All they had to do was all they had to do, at the very least, the most hackney way they could have done it, just hugging. If you wanted to go bold with it, have them kissing. That would have been like
well, they did hand holding, and that's pretty top tier.
It was such bullshit. Yeah. And then they had the scene with the mirror where they were holding hands, but like they had to make sure you saw the blood thing, which we will get to. Like,
oh man,
the movie.
I actually really, when he said like, "Oh, you were as close as brothers," I really wanted Dumbledore to say, like, we're fucking, dude. We're gay.
Just say. I would have loved that. The movie was actively like teasing you, but instead of like me feeling like it was gonna build up to something, it felt like they were never gonna give me anything. Yeah. It's like if I kept telling you like, yo, there's food in my house, and you came into my house and I just threw water at you. Like, that's basically what it was.
Here's the weird thing. It's queer baiting when we know that this character is canonically gay.
Yes.
Which is very odd.
Yeah, like, it's weird queer baiting. Like,
it's like we know they're gay.
Because we've been...
Well, you've told us that they're gay.
Yeah, so why
are you... He's always been gay.
And why are you doing literally nothing with it? And what sucks is that Ezra Miller lied. Because Ezra Miller came out and said that he is explicitly gay in this movie. He was not. And that's the second worst thing he's done in this movie. Ooh. The first is not be very good in it.
I think the weird thing, like, they made it seem like he was with Nagini.
Yeah. Ezra Miller's a really interesting thing about this movie is that because he's kind of been like the star, like, because like I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Ezra Miller's everywhere now. Ezra Miller is getting like Playboy cover ads, like he's been getting a lot of interviews, a lot of model shoots. Damn. He's in a lot of the marketing for the movie.
Because people really love Justice League.
But Ezra Miller has been kind of like the guy they've been pushing from this movie, and you never know that if you watched it. He's so not only is he not particularly in it, he's not like, if you look at Ezra Miller the person who they're portraying him, he's this, like he's gay in real life. He's apparently in a like polyamorous sex group. Yeah. He does a lot of like unisex and androgynous photo shoots. He's this incredibly interesting person. You would not know that from watching this movie.
Watching Credence.
Credence. Or, we'll get to that. I was going to spoil it.
Yeah.
But, like, Ezra Miller and Nagini, like, they were together most of the time. Zero chemistry. There was no character between any of them. Ezra Miller just kind of occupied this really weird, like, outsider kind of character. And like it didn't really work and it was boring, and he wasn't really putting anything into it. He just kind of looked like a sad person throughout the entire thing. And
it was so depressing when he was like when he was letting that like his nanny hug him.
Oh yeah.
Like he had to bend down. She was just like,
that was an awkward shot. There were so many awkward shots. I can go into detail. On how horrible a lot of these shots were. My least favorite one was when
let me get mine in real quick because it's not as bad, but it's very noticeable. Is that Newt and Tina disapparate, and then the next scene is like a wide shot of Hogwarts, and then people apparating. So naturally, your instinct would be, okay, obviously these two have just disappeared and reappeared at Hogwarts. Then you zoom in, it's like, no, these are these people who we haven't seen yet. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
We have not met. It was awkward. Oh, that's another one. I hate how like fucking like jerk off like it was when they first showed Hogwarts. Like they had the music and the sweeping shots. They were treating me like they were fucking like on their hand and just stroking me like, yeah, you like that.
That surprisingly wasn't the worst jerk off session in this movie.
Oh yeah, oh dude.
We'll get to that.
This movie wasn't as bad with the callbacks. Actually, no, it was. Like, I mean, it was pretty bad.
I mean, the first one didn't even really have a lot of callbacks.
Other than, like...
maybe, like, a last name or...
Yeah. They were having callbacks to people that I didn't even fucking remember. From the original movies, and I've just seen the original movies this month.
Come on. You don't remember Nymphadora Tonks?
Dude, oh my god. But, my two least favorite shots.
Yeah.
When Grindelwald was first putting this weird black tarp around everything, and like, it was a huge reveal. It should have been more threatening and surprising, but instead they had this dumbass wide shot of the two main characters, and like, it was a still shot. It was a still wide shot of them talking about it, and it was such an awkward tone. He was like, oh my god, Grindelwald's making his move, but we're given so much space and room to breathe. It should be close in. So
it should be the exact opposite of what we're looking at.
It should be close to them because we're supposed to feel trapped. Grindelwald's making his move, so we should feel small and like compact. But there's so much room to breathe. Like you can even really see the whole street's empty. No one cares. Grindelwald's making his move, and there's no people in the street. Like, oh my god, what the fuck? Like, it's literally just them seeing this and like, oh man, Grindelwald's doing something dangerous. Like, where? Like,
he literally just draped curtains down like Hogwarts 1 style, or Sorcerer's Stone, like at the end where like Dumbledore drops all the drapes down from the house.
My least favorite shot in the entire movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the worst shots came with Johnny Depp because his mode of being scary was he had this acting tick where he was never really looking at anybody except when he was. But usually he had this weird staring off into space thing, which I think they wanted to be threatening. I'm confident he was reading cue cards, honestly, because we know like he's on occasions not bothered to learn lines. But there's this one scene where he's staring into space and he waves his wand because he's talking about Credence. And like, if there was like a wavy little wispy smoke effect, then I would have forgiven this. But it was clearly just a shot of Credence, and they fucking lowered the opacity and layered it over Grindelwald. I was furious. Like, this wasn't magical. This was something I could do right now. Like, it's bullshit. Man. It was the laziest thing I've ever seen in a movie that was probably really expensive.
My favorite shot is when they're like leading Grindelwald out of the prison, and like they're doing this spell. I'm assuming where like they're making him float, and like they have his arms behind his back, so as he's going up the stairs, he looks like he's Naruto running.
He's a wizard Naruto run.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Like
thing.
he's just floating with like Naruto shit.
Why didn't they have him like like if they wanted to go this weird like devil thing? Yeah, they could have had him upside down like in a cross,
or fucking pull the Silence of the Lambs, just put the mask on him,
or like have him like just kind of like with his arms crossed like he's in a coffin. There were so many much more terrifying poses you could have put him in.
Well, you reminded me of something. Yeah, it's like when they went to go kill that random family. Is so like they need a place to hang out. So Grindelwald like they just roll up and they kill this family, and like they show like they kill the family, and then they bring out coffins, and then they put it on a hearse.
I also love how he was just kind of standing in the middle of the street there.
Yeah.
No one thought like, that's Geller Grindelwald. We should probably call somebody. Like that was that was another shitty scene, another shitty shot. Because like, that was another one of those moments of, I guess, I don't know for sure if that's what they were trying to do, but I can't really think of any other reason why I would be there if it wasn't, other than incompetence, which is possible. Yeah. But let's assume that. There is a scene where they roll up into a little baby's room, and he's sitting there, and they murder it. Or at least it looks like they murder it. And like, it exists there for two reasons. One, to illustrate how bad the villains are, which is lazy. But whatever, it gets the job done. But the only other reason I can think of that could be there is that it's supposed to be a really clear allusion to Harry. Like, because like there's a big bad wizard Hitler. Yeah. Approaches a baby.
Well, he wasn't a baby. He was a little kid.
No, it was a baby.
It wasn't. You sure it was a baby?
He was sitting there stupidly, like
he's a toddler.
He was a toddler. He was sitting there and clearly looked like he was unable to move. Either way, it was a clear like the way he was sitting and the way they approached her. It was a clear allusion to Harry as a child being confronted by Voldemort, and I guess it was supposed to be this weird kind of like, she's worse than Voldemort because he actually killed the fucking baby. Yeah, like, but it was silly because Voldemort should have been able to kill the baby.
Okay, for one, they state in the books. That Voldemort is canonically worse than Grindelwald.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Second, the only reason Harry survived was because his mom really, really loved him. So all this means to me is that this kid's mom didn't love him as much as Harry's mom loved him.
So there we go. The movie's trying to do things that are actively against the canon. What else did J.K. Rowling put in this? It's bullshit. If we move on.
Okay, so essentially when Grindelwald is talking, giving his speech, he's saying that he doesn't have a problem with Muggles. But he doesn't just say that. He says various different words that mean Muggle. So what he says is that I don't hate no magics, no magiques, can't spells, Muggles. So it's like, wow, you really put no effort into thinking of different ways to describe Muggle. Because I think we've never been on a podcast so I talk about the original Fantastic Beasts. When I heard no mag, I lost my fucking shit. Because like, Muggle is like, it's not a word you've ever heard of, but it sounds like a slur. So it's like if somebody sees Muggle, it's like, ooh, it's like, I don't like that. Like, it's like she obviously put time into thinking of a fake word to describe people. But when I heard nomad for the first time, I was like, wow, how long did it take you to come up with that one? And now we know that she does that again.
Yeah, no magique is even lazier. Like honestly, like that's just no magic in French. Like
can't spell. It's like wow, I wonder who came. Like wow, how did they come up with that one?
I guess adding on to J.K. Rowling's bullshit is the stroke off moments for the Harry Potter fandom. Again, the most egregious one was the swooping, like, they filmed Hogwarts like it was porn. Like, just like you saw every curve, every edge. They had the original music over it, like, do, 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 do. and I was just like, oh my god, get the fuck
Yeah.
over yourself. Then there was when he was talking to Dumbledore, and he mentioned like, there's a legend in my family that says like when Dumbledore dies, a phoenix flies away. And I groaned at that one.
Yeah.
Like, because that one was so
Yeah.
like, that so wasn't their plan. That was like, how can we allude to something that happened? And
Yeah.
So she's like, they say when it flies away, I'm supposed to be like, oh, that's how he died. But I was like, like it was such a movie. It was a movie. Dumbledore might as well have turned around like, yeah, remember when that happened?
Yeah.
I bet that touched you emotionally. Anyway, like basically, I guess one of the more fun ones was, because you can get away with not knowing it and it still worked in the movie.
Yeah.
I guess was they ran into a random old man.
Yeah.
And it happened to be the dude that created the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
I thought that worked for the most part.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. That was a neat little thing that Kylie got that I didn't, but she told me about.
Well, I heard she was very excited
Yeah.
about that part. The trailer spoiled it for me, so I couldn't really care.
Oh,
less.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame.
Oh, yeah, that's why you watch trailers for big budget movies.
Yeah, it sucked. It was worth.
Yeah.
What else was there? What else was there that was kind of like a stroky moment? You're a bigger fan, so you'd probably be able to see more. I'm trying to think of some. Other than that, no, I think that was pretty much. Oh, there was the one I didn't even know, and I don't know if you know it.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah. They had a flashback to when Dumbledore was a teacher. Well, he's still a teacher. But no, like when they had a couple of the people from the ministry went in to see Dumbledore while he was in the middle of his class. And they said it twice to make sure you got it. But apparently one of the kids' name was McLagan, which was a fucking nothing character in Order of the Phoenix, specifically. No. Was it Order of the Phoenix? No. It was a nothing character in Half-Blood Prince.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I believe that one was it. Which one was the one where Ron went in for the Quidditch team?
I believe that was 6.
Oh, okay. So that was Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was a nothing character in Half-Blood Prince. And so that was something only a super fan like Kylie would remotely catch.
Oh, well, they also had McGonagall for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, I couldn't even tell which one was, because none of the characters were distinct in any real way like they were. Because in the original Harry Potter, each character is distinct. Ron has his big red hair. Like Harry has his glasses. Dumbledore has the beard. McGonagall has the big hat.
She also wears green.
Yeah.
Ish.
Like the characters are distinct. None of the characters are distinct. The only person who has any distinct like look is Newt, who has his stupid scraggy hair that looks unnatural and his big coat. Everyone else just looks like whatever. Like you could blend them in with the rest of the crowd and you wouldn't even notice them.
Yeah. I guess him using Polyjuice Potion was also a little bit of.
That's true. I mean, that's just something of the world.
But I mean, it's like, what are the odds that he had it on him?
That's another thing.
And only used it for like 10 seconds.
That's true. You're right. He's like, oh, Polyjuice, that was in the original thing.
Yeah. I love that scene. Like, he turns into his brother, because I'm assuming that was the only person he could turn into.
Yeah.
It's like there's a very big chance that your brother's just there.
And he was.
And he saw him like right away.
So alright, I think that's all the bullshit. So definitely into like this movie made for the most part 0 sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like it was impossible to follow. None of the characters really had any motivation to do anything.
Yeah.
I think the worst part was definitely like the big twist.
Yeah.
Like this is the first one there because there are 2.
Yeah.
They said like we'll get to the second one, but the first one is. So they have this character who acts as like. He's supposed to be this weird, like, MacGuffin. Well, there are, like, 2 MacGuffins, but they're not really MacGuffins. This movie's all over the fucking place. But there's this one guy, random dude we never met before, who's literally fucking just dropped into the movie with no care whatsoever. And he's like, I know the answers to literally all the questions in the movie. And then, like, he works for Grindelwald, I think? Or he's, like, looking for the guy, and he wants to kill him. Because, no, he's against Grindelwald.
He is. He wants to kill Credence because he thinks Credence is like his illegitimate half brother, and his father, It's a whole big. I guess we should start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a random white dude shows up to these black people's homes, and it's like, "Yo, I like this. I like your mom, so I'm gonna use an enchantment to steal her."
Which is
Then he has a baby with her. No, yeah, he has a baby with her, which ends up being Lita Lestrange, which is Newt's brother's fiance.
Yes.
Are you following me here, people?
Yeah.
So this is the most convoluted shit ever. Okay, so when Lita Lestrange's mother dies, the dude who stole her gets another wife, and then he has, I don't remember the dude's name. I'm just gonna Constance. I'll call him Constance.
Oh, Clovis Lestrange.
Clovis. Constance is better. I don't know how. So Clover Lestrange is a baby. And then he's like, and the dude who is plopped into the middle of this is like, oh yeah, my father made me make a blood pact saying I will seek revenge on this dude by killing the person that he loves. And that person is Clover, who he assumes is Credence. And that is the convoluted reason that he's in this movie.
And not only is it convoluted, it's wrong. So literally, as soon as he finishes explaining it, Lita Lestrange like, that's not true. And I was like, then why did he just fucking tell me all that?
Oh no, I really love like the setup to this scene.
Yeah.
So it's like, so this dude is like, sort of like got his wand pointed at Credence. He's like, dude, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then Lita Lestrange shows up and he's like, yo, what the hell are you doing? And it's like, don't worry about it. And then fucking Tina and Newt just pop out of the background too. It was like, okay, now everybody's here. Now I can start monologuing.
Dude, that part was one of the worst ever. Well, because first off, like, they showed Jacob getting there first. Yeah. And they had a wand pointed at him. And they cut away from that for a while. Yeah. And then they cut back to that the exact same place with the wand aimed at somebody. And it's the guy. And I was like, oh man, why is he doing that? And then you turn around, he's aiming the wand at Credence and Nagini, and like, whoa, where the fuck is Jacob?
So yeah, I went to the restroom. What did happen to Jacob?
Nothing. He kind of wandered into the cemetery, and I guess he was just there for a while until he discovered the rally.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he didn't do anything of substance in the cemetery until he...
So like they never show who the wand was pointing at him.
Not really.
I assumed it was like Nicholas Flamel. I thought that was like the twist.
No.
But they never showed that.
No. Nicholas Flamel didn't show up until the end when everyone got out.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I don't think they ever showed it. If not, it was not substantial. I think maybe it was just one of his henchmen telling he had to go to the rally.
But again, that wasn't very clear. Yeah. I think now that with the scene I mentioned about the disapparating. Yeah. And then, so I think the movie thinks that, okay, we showed these people doing something. If we show another people, like, finishing that act, then that's good filmmaking. Yeah. But it's not. Yeah. It's just fucking confusing.
Yeah, because there, especially that scene where when Queenie leaves Jacob the first time, and she's, like, crying everything, and then one of Grindelwald's henchmen finds her. Then we cut away from that for a while. Yeah. And then suddenly Queenie's with her in the house. And I'm just left like, how long have they been there? They're having tea. Like, we've watched a lot of stuff happen. How long has she been in there? Because they're still acting like they just met. Yeah, so it was confusing as hell. And plus, we don't, unless you have a very intricate knowledge of the canon, like Kylie does, like, you're suddenly like, she can read minds. Why is she acting shocked at all this? I guess you can make the assumption that strong wizards can do it, but...
Well, it's not the thing, is that for one, okay, the way they set this scene up is that this girl, who I don't think ever has a name, like, she's very fucking shady. So, like, Queenie's like, oh, you haven't met the host yet. And then so Queenie's like, oh, you have a husband? She's like, let's just say there's somebody I'm very devoted to. And it's like, okay, so the way I'm looking at this girl obviously has ulterior motives if I'm not a mind reader. So it's like, if you are a mind reader, it's like, you should know something's up. And I think we mentioned, if she's not able to read her mind,
that means she's weirdly powerful. and you need to figure that shit out.
Yeah, and then she leaves, and then like Grindelwald just like walks out with like no fanfare, whatever. And then she's like, "Oh, what the fuck is Grindelwald?"
It was so boring. Like,
there was a more boring way to like.
There was no dramatics in any of the shots. Like, there was no like.
Like, he literally just rounds the corner and it's just Johnny Depp with this fucking shitty makeup.
And you could make the argument that like maybe they were trying to make him normal.
But it looked goofy, is what I'm saying, because of how crazy he fucking looks. Like, he looks like a fucking psycho. Like, he's got like one eye.
It's like standing different. Up, white hair.
He's pale as fuck. Again, like 2 different eyes.
You make him look like a psychopath, but you're trying to give him these normal mannerisms of like this charisma, but he's terrifying to look at.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned, like, if this was Colin Firth from the first movie, like, I could understand what they're going for, because he's a fucking handsome dude. Like, I can understand fucking Dumbledore falling in love with this dude. I can understand him manipulating people, like, but not fucking Johnny Depp. Not even regular looking Johnny Depp.
Oh my god. God, I really like
he's talking like he's trying to manipulate you.
Yeah, and then you're just like, I don't care how smooth talking fucking Godzilla is. If Godzilla rolls up like, "Hey there," you're like, "Oh fuck," and you run away. Like,
it's not even the way that he's smooth talking. It's that the way that Johnny Depp talks. He's just like, "I don't think that you understand. All I want is for you to love who you want." It's like, dude, this motherfucker sounds shady. Like, just the intonation, the tone of his voice, and the way he speaks. Like, he sounds like he's trying to manipulate me.
I guess I wanted to get into the I have like 2 major points to get to before I'm really done. But like, I know in general, like, what was the point I was just about to make? Shit. I was about to say something else more about Grindelwald, but I forgot. No, I was going to talk about the twist. So at the end, again, the spoiler, you were warned in the beginning. Yeah. But turns out Credence this whole time was a member of the Dumbledore family. And whatever, am I right? Like it's not like they didn't build up the Dumbledore family as this big thing in this movie in particular. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, the only reason we know the family's a big deal is because we know Dumbledore.
It's like Dumbledore himself. Yeah. Is the big deal. Who gives a fuck about his family?
Exactly. It would have been a better twist probably. What if, like, he was a riddle? Yeah. That would have been cooler. That would have been like, yeah, your name was fucking James Riddle, I don't know. Like your name was fucking like...
Your name was coincidentally also Credence.
Credence Riddle. So that would have been a much better... Because it's fan servicey. There was literally, as the movie was going along, if the twist wasn't going to be fan servicey, I could not possibly think of what it was. What could possibly have made Credence that important. Because it's not like they established anything, like... other than he was strong. That was it. There wasn't any lore or anything in particular we knew of. Like, oh, there's a fucking key missing and we don't know who has the key. Or something like that. It was always going to be fan servicey. The same way in those Star Wars prequels.
Your real name was Credence Tonks.
That would have been great. Like, if you wanted to go fucking crazy and nonsensical with it. Or if you wanted to go the right way, I think, you should have made him a riddle. Yeah. That would have been fan servicey, but it would have made sense because the evil's in his blood. Yeah. It would have been a lot less distracting. Because you think that if a Dumbledore was a big contributor to Grindelwald, that would come up. Yeah. But if it was just a riddle, then whatever, it makes sense. Like, it's just something that they know. But if you wanted to go stupid and bold, this is just me shit talking, you should have made him a Weasley. That would have been fucking wild.
That would have been so weird.
That would have been like, turns out a fucking Weasley. I mean, that's
like the one dude who doesn't have red hair
in the whole Weasley family. Yeah, that would have been great. I think I would have really into it.
Yeah, but like, it just ends with him meeting a redhead.
He's like, who are you? But it was such a nothing twist. Yeah. The only way that twist would mean anything to you is if you were really in the know of how important Dumbledore was.
Well, the funniest thing is how they find out that he's not Clovis.
Yes. Clovis. Oh, that was horrible storytelling.
That was so funny. Basically, as a child, Lita.
Let me give a little backstory first.
Okay.
So
go
the way
ahead.
the scene basically played out was that, like, I guess we kind of brushed over it, but they had that character try to explain the twist, and he was wrong. So why did they fucking show it to us? But the way it happened was he was basically what it was is they wanted to kill two birds with one stone, or really just kill two birds with two stones, but they kind of just threw both stones at the same time and hope they hit. So he explained what he thought was the big twist on who Credence was.
So basically, we get we get the fake out twist and the real twist at the exact same time.
Exactly. Well, there was like 4 twists, but also all that because it was a fake out. All that really accomplished was we now know Lita Lestrange's backstory.
Yeah.
So it was just exposition. So there was a whole chunk, easy 20 to 30 minutes, where this guy was just explaining Lita Lestrange's backstory disguised as a plot twist, and then immediately was like, no, that's incorrect. Here's the real plot twist. And then they explained more shit.
Yeah.
So it was this... Who the fuck wrote that?
And this is all what this... some hack.
Some hack wrote this shit.
Probably wrote some shitty... I think she got the writer who wrote that shitty book, Casual Vacancy.
only real J.K. Rowling fans are gonna know that joke.
It's a shitty book, and you should look up who wrote it.
But yeah, so that's some of the worst script writing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like it's horrible.
And this is all happening while all of the characters have conveniently met up at the same place.
But now you may continue of what was so funny because they needed. It was a weird thing. I'm not sure how we were supposed to feel about Lita Lestrange. Because they established apparently she was bullied a lot in school. Yeah. And like we were supposed to feel into some of the worst integrated flashbacks I've ever seen in a movie. Yeah. But we were supposed to feel sorry for her because they bullied her for some reason, but they never really established why she was getting bullied. I think
it's because that she stayed over she never went home during the breaks. So they assumed that was because her parents didn't love her.
Yeah, they kept saying that she was a troublemaker, and not like we ever saw that.
Yeah. I wonder if she got kicked out for having too many ideas.
That's great. But so we never really saw any of what made Lestrange.
Okay, one thing that I was expecting though is that was it the Boggart? Yeah. I've been thinking about it. I was I was just expecting the Boggart to take form of her mom or something. To be very abusive. I was like, wow, that would have been super uncomfortable, Dumbledore. Maybe you should consider not doing that just in case some unexpressed trauma.
Yeah, the Bogart is actually really uncomfortable. Something that I got pointed out to me, but we watched the video. I should send it to you. It's really good. But
because I've been thinking about that too. Yo, what if this dude has very deep rooted issues or abuse? And that shows up with the Bogart.
Yeah, and you're supposed to just make it funny. It's actually really uncomfortable and about. It's like if you went to therapy. Yeah, my dad beat me a lot. Have you tried to imagine him in skates? And he's slipping around.
If you imagined him in a clown outfit.
I think that'll help. Therapy over, let me 60 aliens, please. But
and she calls a week later. It's well, I have a clown fetish now. I don't know how well that turned out.
We need to figure that out. But something that pointed out to me about the Bogart is I'm not sure if J.K. Rowling fully thought this through.
Well, she never.
She never does.
Well, I mean, she has the people the creatures who are in control of the most powerful bank in the world, hook-nosed goblins.
Oh god, dude!
Who have been expressed are only out for themselves. Who are only care about greed, who are very greedy.
Because I learned through another video. I should send you both. They're both great. Yeah. But I learned.
Send me when as soon as possible.
But I learned that apparently J.K. Rowling's really defensive of Snape.
No, yeah.
She's really defensive of Snape. And as you watch it, it was the best part of this video I saw you was that I'll link it. It's by my girl Sarah Z.
I think I might have watched that one.
Really? Yeah. She calls Snape an incel, and that had me dying.
Hell yeah, dude.
But so she pointed out that it's a little weird that Neville Longbottom's parents were tortured for years to the point of not recognizing their own son by Voldemort, and his biggest fear was Snape. So I was like, oh yeah, that is fucking weird. What is Snape doing to that kid? Oh, dude,
yeah.
Snape sucks, man. Like, no, he doesn't. Even whatever. He's fine for the story.
He's a good character, but
Yeah.
he's not a good person. He's
Yeah.
very distinct and different.
Yeah.
And like J.K. Rowling's trying to pass him off as a good person, like, oh no, he sacrificed.
Yeah.
It had to be done. It's like he literally hates Harry because he looks like his father.
It was fucking. Ugh. So J.K. Rowling doesn't think shit through. At least not lately.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with not entirely thinking everything through, but the problem is that she's trying to make it seem like she did.
Yeah.
And she said that she's been sitting on this Nagini thing for 20 years. That definitely sounds like a person who's trying to make it seem like she's on top of things.
Yeah. Oh my god. So Dumbledore twist didn't matter.
Yeah.
Remotely. Unless you were some intense fan. That really meant nothing to the story.
Okay, so going back to the Clover twist.
Yeah, the Clovis
Is
twist.
that okay? So the thing is that they thought Clovis was on like a boat and that drowned, but he somehow survived.
Yeah.
What happened was Needle Strange was on that boat, and the nanny left her with Clovis for like a moment, just so she could like go fuck off and do something.
Yeah.
And then this baby was crying, so he's like, "Oh my god!"
This is what babies do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been around a baby.
And
They do
Lita was like, I just want a break. So she goes into her room and finds another baby. And then switches with a quiet baby. She puts the crying baby down, picks up this random baby, is like, problem solved. And then that other baby dies.
It was hysterical. We were the only ones laughing too.
I know.
We were the only ones laughing in that whole theater, which is often the case with us.
Oh, I mean, come on, man. I mean,
But that was it's so silly.
No,
It's
yeah.
so silly. Like
you found another baby.
yeah.
I
Oh,
like this one better.
I'm gonna take this.
This
What
one's
was her,
not crying.
What was her plan? Was she gonna switch him back? Like,
yeah, it's like I just want to. I just like, yeah. I
but
guess.
that baby might start crying as well. Like I don't know. Like the only difference was that baby was asleep in that particular moment. Like the minute it wakes up and it notices its unfamiliar person, it's gonna start crying all over again.
Yeah.
That's
So
fucking
that's
true.
how Lita killed her brother.
So the two big things from this movie. The second one I'm gonna go into is overarching theme of the movie.
Yeah.
But first, I want to get more into the Dumbledore being gay. I don't know if I said this explicitly, but it was not only did they not make it explicit, they were actively skirting around it.
Yeah.
And like the biggest, most offensive one was like at the end, it turns out that because all throughout it, Dumbledore's saying, "I can't fight Grindelwald. I can't fight Grindelwald," and that what we know about is what we think we know is that he just loves him too much, which would go into the theme of what I'm gonna get into in a second. But it turns out they had a blood pact. So it turns out Dumbledore never had a problem with fighting Grindelwald. He just literally actually couldn't. Which I don't know why he couldn't fucking bring it up.
Yeah, like at any point could say like, "Yo, like when like I'm not being cheeky here. I literally cannot do anything about this."
So literally even if you wanted to get gay out of when they held their hand together for the blood pact, or when that's almost even more insulting because there's a section where they hold each other's hands and you could think, "Oh, that's gay." It's not.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a blood pact.
Yeah, it's just a blood pact. So not only like if there was any semblance of it, it's literally gone.
Yeah.
Because Dumbledore never didn't want to fight Grindelwald.
And here's the most embarrassing thing.
Yeah.
Is that as soon as the trailer dropped with Dumbledore saying, "I can't make a move on Grindelwald," people were already assuming it was a blood pact. Like they were calling it. Like they were saying like, "Oh, is this the reason why he can't?" I was like, "That's just shitty writing if it is."
Yeah, and it was.
And it was like, goddamn, J.K. Rowling, you need to hire better writers for your fucking projects. I mean, it's making you look bad when you aren't even directly responsible for the bad writing.
So, something the movie was trying to do, the overarching theme, because this movie hammered in your face, like during the whole scene, like Grindelwald had a rally.
Yeah.
He was trying to this fake air of diplomacy. Like he's all like, they're not bad people, they're just different from us, and that's okay, like, and shit like that. He was trying to be Trump so hard, like that's it. It was just very explicitly, specifically Trump. And J.K. Rowling doesn't super understand how Trump really worked.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned it perfectly, that like the entire time, well, not really, but in the beginning it stated, Newt says, I don't want to pick a side. They don't do anything with it, but it's supposed to be he's neutral, and by the end, he picks a side. Yeah. Here, when it comes to Trump, is everyone has a side. As far as because this is he's done shit. Yeah. So it wasn't what side are we gonna take. It's he's obviously a shitty dude. Let's not even bother thinking about it because he wouldn't get power anyway. Yeah. That would have been a much more interesting route to take it. That Newt was like, he's fucking Grindelwald's a maniac. No one's gonna listen to him, and then they do. Yeah. That would have been a much more interesting thing to go about. And they had that dumbass scene with the redhead girl that they built up. They established twice, and that's just not how it works. Like it's not like because they're trying to paint the Aurors as violent, and the Aurors are supposed to be the police, and they're completely misconstruing shit because the police are violent to minorities.
And like Newt was even saying like part of the reason Tina was having problems with Newt is because he wrote an open letter saying how shitty fucking the police were. He's like, you're literally the only good police because you don't fucking shoot on sight. Yeah,
which like they showed to do, but they did it to the people who were listening to the criminal. And
I think the funniest thing is that when Newt's brother and everyone shows up, like, okay, don't do anything yet. They're just talking. There is nothing illegal about them just talking. And I'm just like, he's a fucking escaped convict. Like, there's something very wrong about this.
Because if they wanted what they were trying to do to work, Grindelwald couldn't have been in power yet. Yeah. And they established that he is. They already trapped him once. So like,
cut his tongue out.
Yeah, dude. Like, so, basically what happened was, let's say Dylan Roof. The guy who shot up a church because he wanted to start a race war. He explicitly said that. If he broke out of prison and then said, I'm going to hold a rally, and the police showed up like, okay, it's not wrong for him to listen to him. Like, no, he is an escaped convict. Get him. Like,
let's just see how this plays out.
Yeah, basically. So another thing about that is that what I think what they were trying to go for overall with it was this idea of having to have loved ones believe in something you didn't think they would believe in. Yeah. Like, that's what happened with Jacob and Queenie. And which, again, lazily done. I guess they kind of did it. It was one of the things I can more visibly see is that they established that Queenie didn't really respect Jacob. It was never explicitly stated because Jacob was love struck the whole way. Yeah. If they had these semblances of, I'm a little uncomfortable with the way she treats me sometimes, then it would have worked because it was abusive almost what she was doing.
And it's also kind of weird how like her dream, like it, I guess like in real world, it would be as if like you're married to like a Mexican immigrant who they're trying to deport. It's like, oh no, like I'm gonna go. Actually, no, I don't think that entirely works.
Well, he's the minority. He is the humans, the nomads are the minorities.
I'm gonna call them cat spells from now on.
Cat spells,
because that's my favorite. So Grindel is actually, now I'm thinking about it, the Trump allegory doesn't really work here because he's saying, hey, you can marry who you want under me, and Trump is like saying the opposite.
Yeah. It's
not very clear what he's trying. It's not a very good allegory. Is what we're saying.
It's Trump to the degree that it's a rally and he's racist. Like, that's what they were trying to allude to, but they aren't getting the specifics because J.K. Rowling, like, from everything that I've seen, doesn't have too good a grasp of what racism is. Yeah, it's very face value.
So it's like he's saying that you want equal rights to a wizard to marry a nomad, but like. That's not something a racist would say.
You're trying to manipulate people, but like you're manipulating them by making your hatred seem legitimate, not lying to them. Yeah. Trump doesn't lie to people. He does. But like when it comes to his racism, he's not lying. When he says Mexicans are criminals, or he means it. He means it. He's like he means it, and he says it in a way that's normal, and he's in a position of power that makes us have to engage it. Yeah. So like that's what makes it scary. So that's what they were trying to go for, I think, with his like calm speech. But he was more just establishing them as others when they already are others. Yeah. So he didn't need to go that extra step. Like so, which is completely missing the point of Trump. You're right. I agree with you.
Yeah. So what this should have been, he should have really laid into how useless the Muggles are, how pointless they are, or how you really don't like. Why are they the ones in power when we're the one? Like pretty much what Voldemort was doing.
Yeah, exactly. they even touched on that a little bit, but the scene was so confused. Like they showed the war that the Muggles had. Like look, if you would look how violent they are. You want them living amongst us. I'm not saying they're less than us, but we can't have that. We can, that would have been much more if they would have veered more to that. But it didn't really feel like he was doing that. But like
it doesn't really make sense. Like what you were saying makes sense of not someone you love believing in something crazy, but like it's weird when what he's promising her is equality to marry to a broken system. Trump has never done that.
Yeah, literally never. But so like let's just assume it is a correct. Even if it was like the speech was perfect.
Yeah.
Like the theme I thought was supposed to be your loved ones are believing in some crazy shit and that sucks. And they could have done that better with Queenie. Because they showed her that she was using magic against him. She clearly wanted something from him that he didn't want because he saw how uncomfortable and dangerous it was at the time. And she didn't care. She didn't respect him. Yeah. She wanted something out of him.
Because he had a very good reason not to want to get married. Not because he didn't love her, but she's literally going to go to prison.
So, if they showed Jacob to be a little more uncomfortable by it, and they built up to that moment of, let's join Grindelwald, you and me. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. If they built up to it, that would have been good. It was all the relationships should have because the whole like Nagini and Credence again not particularly well built up to, but I see it. Kind of like I think it's this kind of, but this literally would have been perfect if Dumbledore and Grindelwald were fucking gay, because that's the whole theme. Having a loved one and the difficulty of letting them go, despite their toxicity. And their beliefs in something that are actively dangerous. It's something we all deal with because we all have a family member that's a little too into Trump. Like we all have that. So like at the highest level, it would humanize Dumbledore and drive home the meaning that even people who are ultra powerful have to deal with people who that they love believing in something that is actively against them. Yeah. And it literally the most important characters that needed to feel that didn't. Yeah, but no, fucking the comic reliefs got it, and the people with no personalities got it, and I guess it should have.
And even with fucking people who are more important, like Lita Lestrange or Newt's brother, she just gives up and dies.
Yeah, so the whole learning her backstory was pointless anyway.
Yeah, she's dead now. Yeah, honestly, that moment where it's very quiet between Newt and his brother, who I don't even think has a name.
I'm sure they said it. They must have said
it. There's when he that moment before he hugs them and says, "I chose a side now." I really wanted to say something like, "Well, look at the bright side. At least I don't have to give my best man speech. Am I right?"
Oh my god. But yeah, that's my whole spiel on. That was some of my biggest problems with Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
Do you have any other stuff? Any major things?
I mean, honestly, this movie is just hard to watch, man. Yeah. I mean, at least with the first one,
there was some fun to be had with the first one.
Well, the first one wasn't so deep into this bullshit.
Yeah.
It was just literally, okay, let's just watch this dude have fun, and then also Grindelwald.
I think the problem was most of Fantastic Beasts, I'm not sure if it had a different director, probably not. But it really felt like Fantastic Beasts knew what it was. Yeah. It was a fan servicey little thing. It was this fun little side story that was gonna throw in some fan servicey references, and we're gonna have a good time returning to the world. Yeah. With some little magic animals along the way and some funny characters. And then at the end, it got all Grindelwaldy, and then you're like, okay, that could be a nice little side thing while we learn more about these people and their story. Yeah. But Crimes of Grindelwald, yo. We're revolutionizing the canon. We're fucking adding shit. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them felt like a cute little side story with some major shit in the background or at the end. Crimes of Grindelwald definitely felt this one's gonna be your new favorite. Like this.
It's like, why would you center this around fucking Newt Scamander, the dude whose only contribution to the original canon is that he wrote a textbook that they use. That I'm not even sure they use. He wrote a textbook that exists.
That's great. I mean, if there were, who wrote like it would have who wrote the textbook that like Snape wrote Property of the Half-Blood Prince on, like that would have been fun.
Like what the potions do.
Yeah, the potions dude. Slughorn. Let's make Slughorn the main character. Like I don't know.
Just do a fucking solo Dumbledore movie if you're gonna get into the Grindelwald shit.
The big one I hear about is like apparently the fan is begging for a Marauders movie, which is cute. I think that'd be fun. I want to know more about Wormtail.
There's a lot of lore to be explored, but you're choosing to do the most boring and the most convoluted.
So you're choosing not only to do the most boring, but the most interesting parts of the story you're actively cutting out.
Yeah.
And
you're adding shit that doesn't need to be added. Like fucking Nagini. It's like, oh my god, fucking Credence. Like, I can't wait to see how Credence is evolved through the crime of Grindelwald.
Oh my god, just what an embarrassment of a movie.
It's so embarrassing.
And so I think that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think you effectively tore this shit down in every angle, from bullshit J.K. Rowling made up to fan service stuff to the big stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. You did it.
And hopefully for the next movie, J.K. Rowling gets another writer.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like whoever they got for this movie, I mean, fucking fire him, dude.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If you want to hear more from us, Benya's got his YouTube channel right here, hopefully coming with something new soon.
Yep.
I'm just going to keep plugging it because I'm sure you'll upload something, but it's going to get to this point where I'll plug your one video. If you want
I'm working on it.
If you want to he talks about other movies and anime presumably at some point. I talk mainly about rap music specifically. I'm trying to put a new system of a video every month. My next one's nice and written. I just need to film it and edit it and shit like that. So if you want to see more of us, links are in the description. If you want to follow us on Letterboxd and see our rankings of the movies we've seen and just know our opinions of movies in general, keep that up. So thank you for watching. Any last statements?
J.K. Rowling the hack.